Welcome to the Jill on Money podcast. It is Friday, January 8th, and this morning we will get the December employment report. It is likely to show a further deceleration in hiring. Estimates are all over the place. Let's call it 100,000 jobs. Far cry from that 4.8 million print in the spring, huh? 100,000 jobs, I don't know, the unemployment rate's going to be 6.7, 6.8-ish. But you know what the story is. The story is the economy's got to slow down as the virus has been surging. And we're going to see more evidence of that. This is the December monthly number. It will probably be worse in January and February, depending on what's going on in the pandemic. Long story short is that the reality on the ground is different depending on where you live. You still have to be careful, but the economy is slowing from that initial snapback. It's going to slow down in the first half of the year, and then it's going to go, I think, it's going to probably in the second half of the year go nuts on the upside. I just think there's going to be a lot of pent-up demand. Mark and I are already planning our trips. I'm not thinking about getting on a plane until October, Mark. What about you? Okay, so we're thinking October is our time. I don't know where I'm going, but I'd love to go to Italy. I might have to stay in the United States for a while. Okay, let's get to your questions. Pat writes that I'm getting ready to retire in a few months. My wife is concerned it's too early. Okay, Pat says I'm 62 in February. My wife just turned 58. We've got $1 million in taxable accounts, $287,000 in Roth accounts. I plan on taking Social Security at 62. Annually, it'll be about $21,700. My wife will take hers at her full retirement age, which will be about $29,500 annually. My wife also receives a pension that she will get at age 65. It'll be $22,000 a year. We estimate annual expenses around $85,000. So I know you're doing that math with me, right? 30, 50, 60, 70. So it's $70,000 of income. Annual expenses around $85,000 in the first year of retirement. House is paid off. No car loans, no credit cards. Are we ready for retirement? Should we postpone? I think you're too young. I think you can probably make it, but why are we retiring right this second? The numbers I can probably make work. But what if something bad happens? Like what if someone got sick? What if you needed to dip into that $1 million in a more significant way? And also, I hate the idea of taking Social Security at 62. I really do. Such a ripoff. Yeah, there's no cash on hand, really. So, the $1 million, it's taxable, so it's not really $1 million. There's money in the Roth. I don't know. It sounds early to me. I'd need a little bit more detail. Are you unhappy working? I guess that's the other question. Nick says, I'm a repeat emailer and avid listener. I was laid off at the beginning of COVID. I rolled my company retirement accounts from Fidelity into New York Life variable annuities, one IRA, one Roth IRA. I'm just pausing. We also signed my wife off for $1 million term policy. I didn't qualify at the behest of an old friend who now works at New York Life. What felt like a financial safety net for our now 1-year-old son now feels like I handed over my simple Fidelity accounts to an untouchable product with a lot of fees. Mark, I'm like jumping out of my skin right now. I got to calm down. Okay, there's $18,000 in an IRA, $14,000 in a Roth. My question, should I keep funding these accounts and deal with the baggage? Should I start from scratch with new retirement accounts and then self-manage when my surrender charges expire, roll the whole thing over? I've got no other investments, retirement accounts, mortgage, rent. Okay. Yeah, Mark says some friend. Everyone, if you have a friend who works in the insurance industry, do me a favor and just contact us first and we'll tell you about your friend. Okay? You got snookered a bit. Not illegal, but it was terrible advice and it was a crappy sale. Surrender charge, paying 10% right now would just make me vomit. So I think you got to wait a few years. But what you should do is make sure that whatever sub accounts you're using are the cheapest ones, usually an index fund. For anything new going forward, there will be no talking to this person at New York Life. You will just start from scratch when you begin. Hopefully you're working again, but no, keep the accounts for now. I don't want you to pay all these fees. Lindsay writes, I love your podcast. I've been listening for years. I appreciate the no-nonsense approach and explanations of the details. A couple of questions. Are we on track for a decent retirement, or are we off base? I'm 33, my husband's 37. Got a 2-year-old and another baby on the way. I earn 72 grand a year, and my husband's income ranges, but it's about 56,000. We've got 57,000 in savings. 40 of that is our emergency reserve. We have an HSA and an HRA, health reimbursement account. I never heard that acronym before. $34,000 combined. We have a 529 plan for our son, and we'll open another one for our next child. I've got $58,000 in a 401k. My husband will receive a pension. He's got an annuity. He's got a small 401k. Our only debt is our mortgage. House is valued at $240. We've got $167,000 to go. We're about to spend 10 to 15 grand on a small remodel. I'm not sure I completely understand my husband's retirement accounts. I'm not sure what questions to ask. I'd love your direction on what to focus on and what to change. Okay, Lindsay, first of all, what you should be doing is that you should talk to whoever is like the manager of that pension plan and just say, well, explain to me what's happening here. Are we contributing? Is the company contributing? You didn't give me a lot of the background. His old 401k sounds like you might have rolled it already into an IRA rollover. For you, I would much rather you put more money into your retirement account than open a 529 plan. Okay. And what you should do is just call the people who manage the pension and say, explain the pension to me. How many years does my husband have to work here? At what point does he get the pension? What is the calculation of this pension? Then you've got to do your own retirement planning calculations. And you can do that with any calculator that's online. There's probably one at the Principal. There's probably one at Vanguard, but just you can plug the numbers in, but you need more info for sure. So you just want to know the details. When does he qualify? How many years does he have to have in? What's the formula? And find out, if he were to stay here until, let's say, age 60, what would be the amount of money he would receive in pension income? Then you use that number, you plug it into the calculator. All right. Nellie says, I'm 32 years old, single, no kids. I quit my full-time job in October. Are you insane? Okay, sorry. My question is, I always laugh about these things like, I'm just going to quit my job in the middle of a pandemic. Why not? Question is what to do with my old 403B. So there's 2 old accounts. One is a previous full-time employer. One is where I do some part-time work. Should I leave my 403B with my previous employer, or is it okay to consolidate and roll over into my traditional and Roth IRAs? Yeah. Yes, absolutely. You should always consolidate your accounts if you can. For the previous full-time employer with the $11,000, you can roll that into your traditional IRA. Okay. The per diem employer with the $16,000, I don't know if you're still contributing to that. If you're contributing to that, you leave it alone. Fine. The other one, I would definitely consolidate. It makes it easier. This is a nice thing. I adore you, and the show is always a treat for me. These days, when it comes down to making financial decision, I think to myself, what would Jill do or say? You're like my financial guardian angel. Happy holidays. With warmest regards, Nellie. Mark says she wouldn't say quit your job in October. I'm hoping that maybe there's some other reason. I don't know. This is hysterical. Caitlin says, thank you for taking this question. Please feel free to edit it for brevity. We are potty training at the moment, and I'm very tired, so my grammar may not be the best. Can you walk us through the pros and cons of using a Roth IRA for college savings? We've got 2 toddler preschool children, and we've got 529 plans for each of them. We are looking to possibly open a Roth IRA in their names as an additional college savings vehicle for them. How do you do that? Do they have earned income? Are your toddlers working? Because without them working, you can't. Well, we have them. This is like, we have them toiling. They're counting Cheerios. So you can't make a contribution unless they're earning a salary. They also have retirement accounts for themselves. Exactly. Mark says worst case scenario is you pay the fee or the penalty for not using the 529 plan. I think you're overthinking this. Use the 529 plan, keep putting money into your retirement account, and that's it. Keep your potty training. Keep going. All right, gang. Tomorrow, who's on the interview this weekend, Mark? Oh my God, this weekend we have the best interview. This might end up being my favorite interview of 2021, and I know we've got a long way to go, but it's going to be a good one. It is my girl. It is Peloton extraordinary instructor, Christine Dearcole. So good. Okay. As always, remember, we are here for you. Send us your financial questions. Ask Jill at jillonmoney.com. Don't forget to wash your hands, to wear your masks, maintain your physical distancing, and do something nice for someone else today. We'll talk to you tomorrow.